the recorded uh, the recorded lecture will be uploaded on the given particular location. I think Sabha ma'am has shared that location with you people. You can refer, and you have to do the practicals, and you have to create your own docs. So here whatever things I will tell you, that I will tell you in reference with the theory, that to explain the theory, but the doc you have to create. See, basically, what for TY, what we do for TY, we don't include the description part. So first, you have to write down the aim. Then, after writing the aim, you have to add the source code, screenshot, whatever. Because in the web services practical, screenshots are also available. Also, you have to do a screenshot in the sense when you are writing the when you are clicking, like for the services, when we are doing that. So for you, for example, for the creation of services, you can just write down the first step, that go to the new project. From the new project, select, so you can just write down like this, and after that you can add one or two screenshot also. Okay. Further practicals, if you will see, the screenshot is very important. So first you have to write down the aim. For example, the first practical which I have given, there you have to create a web services, which is finding the which is converting temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius and vice versa. So that is going to be aim. Then in the source code, you have to write down the add some screenshot, and then code whatever you have written for the web services as well as the servlet. And for the output screen, whatever you are getting at the end. Okay. So you have to write down like in this fashion. So for TYCS, I am not including the the description part. There will be aim, source code, and output. I hope that is clear to everyone. So now consider, if this is a web service, for this I have to design a client. Go to the new client. Now what I want to design the servlet. Okay. So for designing this, now now design the servlet. You have to create the web application. So we'll create a simple web application. So we can give it as a name as a. Okay, so this is the client for that. चार्जिंग पे लगा दो चार्जिंग. Okay, so here you can see that a simple web application has been created. Now this is not a servlet application; it is a simple web application. It is not a servlet application. So once you have created the web application, now what you have to do, you have to right click over here. You have to go to the new, and now you will get your n number of option like servlet, JSP, and all. So from here you have to make it as a servlet application. Okay. So what you will do, you will just create on servlet. Now you can just give the name. For example, I'm giving the name as a, or you can just give the name as a servlet client. Okay. Now you will go to the. Now here you can see that in case of this, their servlet client.java file has been added. Now in servlet, basically what is a servlet? Servlet is a way to design a web application by using a Java. Okay, so servlet is basically used to create a client server application by using the web application. Okay, so on a internet, if you want to create a if you want to create a desktop client and server, then you can use the simple your datagram socket packet socket or server socket classes, and you can create the client server architecture. But if you want to create web client and web server, then in Java you can use the concept of the servlet. So basically in Java, servlet is designed to create a client server architecture, okay, by using the web application, by using the, so that it can be used on internet. Okay, so that is basically used for that particular thing. So by using the servlet you can design the client server architecture. Okay, now here you will see that by default there are the certain functionality. If you will see the first package, that is nothing but a IO exception. That is because whatever input and output you are using, for that you have to use the IO exception. The exception is going to be thrown. Then print writer for writing the things over the application, because see, the servlet application is like something, it is used for designing the client server architecture, but it is not completely like a HTML or something. So here by using the Java syntax, by using the Java rules, you are going to write down over the web application or over the browser, or you can say on the web page. So what you have to do, you have to take a print writer, and by using the print writer object, you can write down over the web pages. So here you can see that here the language has been used as an HTML, but that language not directly we have specified. As we are using a Java concept, we have used the print writer object, and by using that object, we are writing those HTML tags over the web pages. So here your the information will be stored in the form of web pages, in the form of you can say that the result will not be displayed over the NetBeans output window. It will be displayed over the web pages. It will be displayed over the browser. So here the communication will be done over the browser. But yes, the concept, the base is going to be used of Java. So that's why we are using the print writer object to write down something over the browsers. Okay, then servlet exception, because it is a servlet. As I told you before also, that whatever things added after in Java, that things are always accessed by using the JavaX, that is the Java extension package. Okay, so this servlet, just swings, and all these are added to the Java afterwards. The basic Java was different, and these things were added afterwards. So all these things you can use by using this. Now, as I told you that it is used for the client server architecture by using a Java for the web application. So here you are using the HTTP servlet, because you know that over the internet, if you want to do the communication, then you have to use the HTTP protocol. So it is also using the HTTP servlet. This is the HTTP servlet request for sending request from the client to the server. This is a response to get a response from the server. Okay, so these packages are basically used. Now, whenever you are creating a here the first annotation, you can see that as a web servlet. So whatever the name you will give to the servlet, the same name will appear over here. Now we public servlet client has been created, and it is going to be extended from the HTTP servlet. Okay, so this the base class for this is always HTTP servlet. Now here you can see that there is a function process request. Apart from this, there is a more functions like a get and post. So you will get that function like a do post and do get function also you will see over here. So in do get and do post, you can see that the process request function itself has been called. So the the coding part, whatever you are going to do, it is going to be done in a process request function itself. So we are going to do the coding into the process request. Do get and post are the overridden function, that is they are the functions of the uh, HTTP servlet class, and they just send the data. They just send and accept data from the to the server and from the server. So here you can see that just process request function has been called, where it is taking two parameter. One is the request and response. So this is basically used to send the request and get the response from the server. Now the difference between do get and do post is, if you will see, it is taking the same parameters and all. Do get will send and receive the data in unencrypted format, so whatever data are there, that will not be encrypted. While do post, the data will be encrypted, and in do case of the do post, you can send the large amount of data as compared to the do get. Do get have a restriction of just sending the 256 bit of data at a time, while the do post can send more than that data. Okay, so that is the difference between the get and post. Okay, so now for us, the most important thing is the process request. Whatever user defined coding is there, that will be added to this. Now the process request, you can take see that it is taking two parameter. One is the HTTP servlet request. So by using this, you can send request to the server, and by using response, you can get response. Okay. Now here you can see that response dot set content type means whatever response you are getting from the server, in which form you want to display those response. Okay, so that response you want to use, or that response you want to get in a format of HTML. That's why you are using text slash HTML, and the character set, that is the encoding format, you are using a UTF-8. So as here you are using the encoding format, the data will be transferred by using the post method. If you are not using this encoding format, then your data will be transferred by using the uh, get method. Okay, so this is basically you are setting the content type of the response, that in which format you want to receive the response. So you want to receive the response in a form of HTML. Now you are going to, if you want to write down anything to the response page, so how you are going to write down, you have to take the print writer. So you have taken the print writer equal to response dot get writer. So whatever response page you are getting, over that you want to write down, so you are getting the response dot get writer. Now if, whatever you want to write down, everywhere you are going to use the out dot println. You can see that this is a simple uh, HTML code, simple HTML code, where you are getting the displaying the normal information like a servlet client, then request dot get context path and everything. Okay, if you want to, if you want to write down any of your code, you can write down inside the body. Now, what we want to display over here, we want to display over here a addition and subtraction. Okay, so how we are going to do? Now, this is a server client where you can get the, sorry, this is a page where you can design the things and you can get the data from the server. So here you can get the data. Okay. Now this is, you can say that this is the server type of part, server part, where it will take the data and it will give you the response. So this servlet is basically act as a servlet. Okay, so here, from here, what we can do, we can just give the process the information, and we can give the output to the client. So this is not our client, this is just a our what you can say, it is just a server where the processing part can be done. Now if you want to design a client through which you want to set the request, then you have to go to the web pages. In web pages, index.html page will be there by default. Okay, so here you can specify the content, that is the client part. Here you can specify. So for example, we can just write down over here servlet client. Okay, so this is the particular part of the servlet client. And now here, what you want to do, you want to design the things like you want to design the uh, uh, you want to give the two values, so you have to design in that particular manner. So what we will do, we will take a form tag. If you want, you can specify the name. For example, you are specifying the name as a F1. You can also specify the method, but we will not specify the method. Then you can specify the action. So we'll see what we have to write down the in action part. So this is our form. Now what you want to define. We want to send the two values. So input type we will specify as a text. Name we are giving it as a T1. Okay, so this is our first text box, and we are giving it as a enter first number. Okay, so this is your first part, that is the enter first number. Now if you want to design one more, because it is a addition and subtraction, so we want to give the two numbers. So enter second number. Again you can specify the same thing, that is the input type. Text, the name you can give it as a T2. Now you need a button, so we can specify the input type equal to, you can specify the submit. The name, if you want, you can give it as a name as a, okay. So here you don't need to specify the value, because when you are specifying the input type as a submit, the by default the name of the button will be submit. So this we have just designed the client part. Okay, so when you will check this one, when you will run this particular one, sorry. Okay, so now you can see that the output you are not going to see over the output window. As I told you that it is basically used to design the client server application over the internet. Okay, so here you can see that your client part has been designed. If you want to keep it on the next button or next line, you can use the BR and all. Now here you can see that submit query button is already there. So even if you are not specifying the value, it will by default it will take this submit query name. Okay, if you will specify the value, then it will be, if you are specifying the value, then what you can do, see this particular value you can see. For example, if you are specifying submit, then this particular value you can see. And if you want to give it as the next line, so you can use the BR, sorry, as it is a standalone tag, the slash should be over here. So you can use the BR tag. Okay, so you can see that now here it is coming, and here now it is a submit. So whenever you are using the type submit, you can use this particular one. Now the next thing is basically what you can see over here. This value, by specifying value, you will get the value whatever you want to show over there. Now as you have specified the input type as a submit, it will directly work. If you are using the input type something button, then you have to use the on click, and you have to specify that where you want to call the server. For example, if right now you will click on the submit button, nothing will happen. It will come to the next same thing, refreshing, and it will come to same page. But if you are specifying into the action parameter that where you want to go. So for example, you want to use the servlet client. Barabar? So you want to go to this servlet client. So in action, you can specify where you want to, which functions, which things you want to call. So if you are specifying servlet and if you are calling it, okay, now if I give some value over here and I will submit, it will go to the servlet page. Okay, so but in servlet page, we have not written anything. So now what we want in servlet, I want to call the in this, what I want to do, I want to call this web services. The web services which we have created, that web services we want to call, so that it can be called and it can process the value. So now this servlet itself is a server which is doing which accept the request and process it. But now this server is going to contact to web services, and then it will give the response to its client. Okay. So how you are going to add the web services to it? The same way we have to use, right click on this new. Now this web service, this web application, I want to make a web service client. So I will click on this. Either you can add from the project or you can use the WSDL URL. I have told you both the way. Now the function service which you want to use is a web services, first web services. So I will add this server. Okay, so this is added, and now I will just click on finish. Now here you can see that web service references has been added. Okay, so here this web service references has been added. When you will explore it, this method will come, that is the support and all, it will come. You can just drag drop this outside this process request function, because this is also a function, so that should be called outside the function. So you can see that add port number has been added. Now the next is you want to call the subtraction also, so subtraction part also should be dragged off over here. Okay, so you have got both the things. Now what you can do, you can just call over it over here. So what you can do over here, see there is a two way that if you want in addition as well as subtraction, what you have to, it is returning the value. Okay, so what you can do, first you can do take the value which you want to add and subtract. Okay, so this servlet is already a client server architecture. So here in this servlet, what we are doing, we are taking the value from the client. Okay, the servlet client. So where is our servlet client? This is our इसका web page कौन सा है? This is our web page. ठीक है? So here we are getting the T1 and T2. Correct? So whatever value we are entering this text box, those value we want to add and subtract. So that value we will take first. So what we will do, we will take int a comma b, both the variables we will take. Or what you can do over here, you can just write down int a is equal to, so that you can take the values over here itself. Now, from where you want to get the parameter, you are want to get the parameter from the servlet. Okay. So how you are from that particular request. So you want to take the request from the client. Okay. So what is the object of the HTTP servlet request? It is a request. So you have to use that particular request object over here. See, if you want to write something, then you have to use the response. Like here we have user response because we want to write down over the web page. But if you want to request something, then you have to take the, if you want to take get parameter, then you have to use the request. Now here you can see that as well as you are writing the request, you are getting the n number of this. So here you can use the get parameter method to take the values from that particular string. So now what we name we have given to that particular text box, we have given the name as a T1. I hope everyone is getting this. Okay. So here you are taking the value from the T1. So in index.html, that is this client part from where you are taking the value. The value is specified as a T1 and T2. So from this text boxes, you want to take the value. So you will do that particular one part. The same way you are going to write down for the B also. So your int B. Now you are want to get the parameter from T2 text box, so you will specify T2. Now here you will see that it is giving the error, that is an incompatible data type. Why incompatible data type? Because here A and B is an integer variable, because we need to pass this services as an integer value. Barabar? But here it is taking the string value. Whenever you are using the get parameter, it is always going to return the string value. So you need to convert it into the integer. So here you can use the integer dot parseInt function, and then whatever this parameter is there, that is whatever string parameter you are taking, that will be converted into the integer. Okay, so like this you can take the values and convert it into the integer. Now you have taken the value and you have converted into the integer. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to call those add functions and pass these values. बराबर जो आपने यहाँ पे add functions लिए हैं, add and sub, that you have to call. Now this whatever output they will return, because they are returning a particular output, so whatever output they will return, that output we want to display over the browser. बराबर जो आपका browser window है वहाँ पे आप display करोगे. So for that what you can use the out dot println. So you can use the out dot println. Okay. Now here you what you want to do, you want to write down the particular addition or whatever. So you can use whatever tag you want to use. For example, here I want to use, I want to show in a bold. So I want to use the bold tag, and in bold I would just want to write down that the addition of this is something. Okay. If you want to use anything else, then you can use that particular tag. For example, if you want to display in H3, that is a header 3, then you can use the H3 tag. You can just write down addition equal to, okay, and then you can do the concatenation by using the plus sign, and here which method you want to call, add method along with the a comma b. Okay, so like this you have entered, you have printed the addition, then you want need to close the tag, then again plus, then in this you are going to use the, okay, so your things are been done for the addition. Now same thing you need to do for the subtraction. So here you are just going to write down subtraction, and here the function you want to call is sub. Okay, now I have just saved it and I will again run the entire code, that is the servlet part. Okay, as soon as I'm running, it will be asking enter the first number. For example, I'm asking 45 and the second number as a 140 or 174. Okay, and I'm just submitting it. Here you can see that addition is equal to 219 and subtraction is equal to 129. Okay, so like this you can just create the servlet client. So whenever just remember why I told you the servlet, because servlet itself is a client server application. It is used to design the Java web client server application over the internet. Okay, so in that case, you again need to design by using index.html. This index.html page is always used for the client, and this servlet page is always used for the server. So here, this is our server which is processing the request, and through this server, we are calling another web services. Okay, so here by using this server, the web services has been called, and it is performing the particular operation. So same way you have to do for the Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, so I hope everyone got it. Anybody have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, so I think it is clear to everyone, but you can start design your practical, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me anytime. That is the next session, you can ask me. So this is the how you have to design the servlet client for the web services. I hope everyone got it. What is the servlet? So just remember, servlet itself a client server. It is used to design a client server application in a Java, where servlet act as a server. It will use the process request method for processing the request, and an HTML page which has been designed that can take the HTML page which has been designed that will act as a client. Okay, so here it is already a client server application, and through the server, that is the when the client is sending request to the server, that is the servlet. Internally, servlet is calling the web services, and then the output has been displayed over here. Okay, so this is basically how you are designing the servlet for the any application. I hope that is clear to everyone. Servlet program. Okay, listen. See, the recording I have recorded entire the session. So what I will do, I will just upload it. The this session itself, I will upload on that mentioned location. So you can just access those part. So screenshot से अच्छा आपको पूरा recording नहीं आपको पूरा मिल जाएगा. You can just use it. Is it fine? So I think Sabha ma'am has shared with you some location where from where you can get your all the recording. So before to that, I have not recorded anything because previous year we were not supposed to give recording session to the TY student. It was just only for the MSc. But I think from this year it was started for TY also, and that was not known to me. So, as Sabha ma'am told me that we can upload the recording, so this recording I will upload. You can just refer from there. Okay. See, I don't have any problem to sending you doc, but what happened now? If some are sincere, they are going to make use of that doc properly. But some who are not sincere, or they who don't want to do anything, that they will just modify in that doc and they will upload it. Okay, that's why I don't want to send any doc to you. And it is a recording, so you can just go through the recording. You can just do your practical, and then you can create your own doc, no problem. In any case, at the final, you have to convert your doc into PDF. You are not going to upload the doc बिफोर एग्जामिनेशन व्हेन आई विल टेल यू टू अपलोड आपको पीडीएफ में कन्वर्ट करके अपलोड करना है कोई भी डॉक नहीं अपलोड करेगा डॉक्यूमेंट एज अ डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं अपलोड करना है एवरीवन व्हेन ऑल द प्रैक्टिकल विल बी डन इट शुड बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू द पीडीएफ एंड देन इट विल बी अपलोडेड okay so I think that is clear to everyone can perform this practical uh, by themselves those who are not having devices or some issues if possible जस्ट ट्राई टू मतलब एक बार आपके फ्रेंड अगर आसपास रहते हैं तो उनके पास जाके आप एक बार देख लो नहीं तो ऐसा कुछ भी पॉसिबल नहीं है तो जस्ट हैव अ रिकॉर्डिंग विथ यू पीपल यू कैन रेफर इट एनी टाइम okay and even though if you don't have a device anytime you can do the coding part or whatever things you want you can do and you can ask me anytime that is not an issue I hope that if everything gone well if third wave is not if India is not affected much affected by third wave then mostly from September the college will be allowing the students who are not having the devices and we will also go to the college if third wave is not affecting India. We have just crossed the finger. We don't know what is exactly going to happen. But yes, if it is like that, if third wave is not there, or it is not affecting much India, I will see you all in college soon. Soon in the sense, then also by September, because it was said that August is the time when it will get affected. So let's see. Any case, I think Raj, you don't have devices, but I think you are clear with your concept, because the program that you have written for Fahrenheit to Celsius also, you have written it correct and with the correct syntax and all. So I think even though if you don't have a device, you are much clear with your concept, and once you are clear with your concept, that is not a big issue. Okay. Uh, we have a 10 minutes, so we'll just see certain theory part of it. So if everyone is clear with that, nobody have any doubt, we will just switch to the some theory part, so that simultaneously we can complete certain theory part also. Right. Okay, so I don't think anybody have any doubt, so I'm just closing this Nedwin window. अरे यहाँ पे गिरेगा, पागल है क्या रे? अभी गिरती थी, ज्यादा स्टंट मारने का शौक चढ़ा है क्या? हाँ, okay. So we have already done basic concept of the web services. We have already done with what is a web services. Then we have seen that what are the different types of web services, that is the SOAP web services and RESTful web services. RESTful web services we will see in unit 2. Right now we'll have to only check with the in unit 1 there is only SOAP web services. So right now whatever web services we are designing, these are the SOAP web services. Okay. So then we have seen what is the SOAP message structures. Okay, body element, envelope and all. This we have already seen. Then we have seen what is a fault message, what is a fault message type and all. This PDF I will share today in a group. So this is consisting of all the notes, means all the notes in the sense it is consisting of all units, unit 1, 2, 3. Yes. So this PDF I will just share in a group today. See, this is just a theory part, and practically whatever we are doing, that is a different. Okay, so in previous sessions, we have already done with till the SOAP message format. You can go through these things and you can will just have a question. And as I told you that there will be a surprise test. So till this week, I have not taken the surprise test. because I don't know that whether all the people have taken admissions and they are here or not. Because the problem is that this will be whatever surprise test will be there, that will be included as a internal marks. So for the surprise test, there is no syllabus as such. Huh? So whatever we have done till now, any two or three questions will be there for that surprise test. I think for a particular any of the subject you must have given the surprise test. So from next week, I will also start in any one of the lecture. I will take that particular test, and whatever we have done, the question will be very basic. Basic in the sense, if you know what is a web services, if the fundamentals of the web services is clear to you, you can easily answer those questions. Okay. I think someone is unmute. Please mute yourself. Okay, so now the next part in the query, theory is nothing but a WSDL web services description language. Now, what is a WSDL? It is nothing, as we have seen that in case of web services, between the client and server, entire WSDL file has been exchanged. Okay, whenever we NetBeans मैंने close कर दिया ना. Okay, in previous session, हाँ, in में बहुत ज्यादा नहीं होता है, पांच ही होता है. पांच नहीं होता, तीन ही होता है बेटा. तुम स्पेशल ई डिजाइन कर रहा है क्या? ई में थ्री स्लीपिंग लाइंस होते हैं सिर्फ. वन स्टैंडिंग लाइन एंड थ्री स्लीपिंग लाइन. पांच मत लिख लगाना, नहीं तो मारूंगी तुमको. मैं तुम्हारे घर का नहीं है कितना भी लाइन लगाऊंगी. लाइट ऑन करो पहले, लाइट ऑन करके ये वाला लाइट ऑन करो. Okay, so basically, when you are talking about the WSDL, that is a web service description language. This is a document which is exchanged between the client and server services. In previous session, I have told you that how this WSDL file look like. So basically, here you will see that what is this web service service description language. Now, if just remember, if I am giving this WSDL, just remember properly the full form of it. If I'm giving what is the full form of this, so there will be very minute changes in each and every option. Like it can be a web service description language, it can be web services description language. It can I can just give web service descriptive language or something. ठीक है, तो ऑप्शन जो आपको रहेंगे उसमें बहुत माइन्यूट चेंजेस रहेंगे, तो जस्ट चेक इट आउट वेदर इट इज अ वेब सर्विस और वेब सर्विसेज. If you are checking on the web service description language, that will be a wrong option because the correct one is a web services. Okay, so while giving answer, just check the options properly. So web services description language. Now what it does, as I told you that it is basically a document which is exchanged between the client and server while the communication between the client and server. That's why the web services is known as it support the document exchange format. Okay, the first thing. Second thing, it is a XML based file. Yes, you have seen this file. I have shown you this file. This is basically XML based file. The data is consist of an XML format, and it basically consists of the message information, that is whatever message is transferred between the user, that between the client and server. You must have seen that add messages there, then the parameter details and all. Okay, and then there is a port and binding, where port types just specify the port number where the communication will take place, and the binding basically used to bind it by using the. नहीं, ज्यादा टाइट ना करो तो खुलता नहीं, बारिश में तो फूल जाते हैं ना. Okay, so in case of this particular port type, what you have to do in case of the port type, it will consist of the port information, and binding is basically it is consisting the URL of that particular WSDL file by using which the client and server can connect with each other. Okay, so these are the basically three different tag in a WSDL file which is used. So message is basically consisting of all the information of the operations. You must have seen that if you remember that WSDL file which I have shown, it is basically consisting of the operation like add operation, sub operation, and parameter details. Port type is basically describe the port for the web services over which the communication between the client and server can take place. Then the binding is basically it specifies the URL through which the WSDL file will bind with the client and server. Okay, so this is the basically three basic information it is consisting. The WSDL file is consisting of these three basic information. Okay, so this is basically known as a WSDL. Just remember the full form. It is a web services description language. So it's very important that you are checking with this S while you are selecting option for that full form in examination. Okay. So this is basically this much theory we are done. So from next week we will start with the surprise test. Anytime, in any lecture, I will ask you to give that particular test, and the syllabus will be whatever is your understanding. You don't, if you understand the particular thing, you don't need to read also. So you know what is your syllabus. You know how much content has been done. Accordingly, you can be prepared. So hardly there will be two or three questions, and you just need, if your concept is clear, you can easily give it. Okay, so I think it is 10 o'clock, so we'll just wind up with our session. See you in next session. My tomorrow session will be taken by Priyanka ma'am. We have just exchanged because tomorrow I have some examination duty. So next week we will see you everyone, and please just clear your concept. Anytime I will take the surprise test. Okay. Okay. Bye bye everyone. Take care. Have a good day.